Rai is the professor in decision science and director, research planning and statistical services and quality assurance at Department of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. He received BSc in Statistics, Mathematics and Physics, MSc in Statistics, Masters in International Business, PhD in Statistics from the MLS University, Udaipur. His research interest is statistics, operation research, research methodology, operational management, total quality management, Six Sigma. He had also editor of the MIT Business Review and editorial of the review board of other journals. 12 research scholars have received doctoral degree under his guidance, and research scholars are currently doing PhD under supervision. Dr. Roy has taught many introductory, advanced, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctor level courses ranging from the quantity, technique, research methodology, and Six Sigma. He is also expert in the computer software like MS Excel, SPSS, Minitab, application of statistical analysis. So, I will welcome to Dr. Rai sir for to deliver his lecture for today's FDP program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, sir, you can. Yes, sir, you are audible and please share your screen, sir.
So, thanks to all organizers for inviting me to speak in this prestigious faculty development program on this topic of mixed method research, types, challenges, and criticism. Before I start, could I please request the participants, if you could, in the chat box, just type whether you know about this.
So there is a problem with your sound, sir. There is no sound available. Hello, sir. Ashwini, sir. Please check. Hello. I'm not able to find out whether my sound is audible to you or not.
Oh, sorry. Now you're getting my voice?
Yes, sir. Now we are getting. But there is an
Right.
echo is there, sir. You have some mic. Your voice is equal.
Right. So, may I ask the participants to please write whether you are able to listen to my voice properly?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
So, I have just asked whether you know about mixed method research methodology or not. Few of you have written yes, and few of you have written no. No problem. We'll discuss mixed method research because we have about 1 hour left. So this session would be sort of introductory session. Some of you are writing that it is echoing. I would request all those who are not speaking to mute their mics. So before we start, these two proponents of mixed method research who made it popular across the world, one is Professor John Creswell, who is an American academic and who is known for his work on mixed method research. and he has written numerous articles on mixed method research and about 27 books on mixed method research. And second is Professor Abbas Tashakori from North Texas. Few of you are writing it is echoing. Is it still echoing my voice?
No, sir, it's audible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, before we start, you all know that research paradigm is primarily divided into two paradigms. One of them is positivist philosophical view, and the other one is interpretivist philosophical view. And the philosophical position that we take depends upon which paradigm we are looking into. So, you know that we work from the nature of truth, and then we start discussing about what is the nature of reality. That is ontology. You would have heard this terminology. And then comes epistemology, which refers to nature and forms of human knowledge, where we answer, how do we know what the reality is, right? So the nature of reality is ontology, and how do we know what is the reality is epistemology, right? Now, when we are talking about MMR, means mixed method research. So this is a sort of research methodology that incorporates multiple methods to address research questions in an appropriate and principled manner. And mixed method research involves collecting and analyzing and interpreting and reporting both qualitative and quantitative data. So it depends upon a researcher based on their purpose, whether they would want to approach of only quantitative approach or only qualitative approach, or they want to mix it, right? So what is mixed method research? A small intro. We can understand it is a research methodology which is incorporating multiple methods to address research questions in an appropriate and principled manner. We've discussed this. So what we are doing is we are combining qualitative and quantitative approaches to study the phenomenon comprehensively. We are using multiple sources of data to triangulate our findings, resulting in more accurate depiction of our subjects. We are trying to get deeper level of insight into complex phenomena. And when we are using both qualitative and quantitative methods, what we are thinking is to utilizing the best practices of both methods to understand the finer details of the study subject that we have, and so that we could easily generalize the findings that we have to a larger population. So these mixed method research, they help us to bridge the gap that is existing between theory and practice by offering empirical evidences. So, two major research paradigms that we've just discussed, positivism and interpretivism. Now, you probably already know that positivism is when we focus more on quantitative side, right? Positivism considers that only the knowledge confirmed by our senses is affirmed as knowledge. Positivism follows the objective route, and it advocates that the knowledge is gained through gathering of objectively verifiable facts using quantitative means. And when we turn to post-positivism, it's little bit a milder form of positivism, which follows the same principles but allows little more interaction between the researcher and his research participants. So while this positivism focuses on objectivity, quantitative thing of the research process, post-positivism have a little space for subjectivity as well. Now, another paradigm when we talk about interpretivism. So, interpretivism is contrast to positivism. An interpretivist researcher would believe in multiple realities. So, therefore, the followers of interpretivist philosophy, they are critical of application of positivist model, right? So the researchers who are guided by this paradigm, they respect the subjective meaning more than the objective meaning. So just to summarize, interpretivism is more on qualitative side and positivism is more on quantitative side. The third is pragmatism, means practical person. So which we are going, this mixed method research is sort of pragmatism, right? So what is paradigm of pragmatism? They are not committed to any sort of philosophical stance. Not only positivist, not only interpretivist, right? And they argue that forced choices between positivism and interpretivism should be abandoned. And they think that it is the pluralistic and oriented towards what actually works and what actually is the practice. To identify that, to discover that is more important. So we can say, in other words, pragmatism is using multiple methods, but the use is guided by the research problem at hand. And pragmatism therefore values both objective and subjective knowledge to meet research objective. And the researchers who are using pragmatist approach, they have liberty to choose research methods or the strategies of research that can best answer their research questions. So it's not a divide, either positivism or interpretivism, right? The pragmatism would brush aside this divide of quantitative/quantitative, right? And it would suggest that more important question is whether the research has helped to find out whether what the researchers want to know. So pragmatism study is what is the researcher is interested into, what the researchers looks the value into. So the pragmatist researcher would look into research problem in a different way, right, than a positivist researcher or an interpretivist researcher. So what is the main reason for adopting a pragmatist position is, it is that in a study, pragmatist researcher is thinking that I am being allowed to have a pluralistic stance of gathering all sort of data in order to best answer the research question that I have. So what we can say in essence is that a pragmatist researcher is mixing the methods, or is employing a mixed method design, or following either one or multiple combinations of some of already prevalent research paradigms. So in our mixed method research design, qualitative research approaches, they help to understand the situation that we have in front of us through indicative results by exploring the tools like participant observations, in-depth interviews, right? And while quantitative approaches, they would help deriving objective findings such as tools like survey, questionnaire, etc. So we've discussed this, the main reason for a pragmatist position. So when we are employing mixed method research, this is complementing our understanding, our objectivity. So when we are working on a research problem and going through mixed method research methodology, it is helping us in getting the answers of the research questions through its own philosophical assumptions and methods of inquiry. And it provides us good direction for collection and analysis of data from multiple sources in a single study. So, as I said, the qualitative is complementing quantitative and quantitative is complementing qualitative in mixed method research. So, what benefits mixed method research is giving? It is giving us a lot of benefits when we are approaching a complex research issue, right? By integrating the positivist philosophy and interpretivist philosophy, and by offering us methodological flexibility, right? And providing us in-depth insight for complex research issues, we are allowed to understand smaller cases also. So in other words, what we can say is this use of mixed method, it enables the researchers to answer questions with sufficient breadth and depth. And it helps us to generalize the findings and implications of research issues to the whole population. Let's take example, the quantitative approach. It helps researchers to collect data from a larger number of participants, and therefore we have more possibility to generalize the finding to a wider population. While we know that in qualitative approach, we have a deeper understanding of the issue being investigated, and we honor the voice of participants through focus group discussion, through in-depth interviews, right? And when we are mixing both of them, right? So if you could look at the last point, mixed method design is compensating the weakness of each method, right? Now, next, you may ask, why mixed method? Can't we do only quantitative and only qualitative? So we could have 6 justifications for combining quantitative and qualitative data in research. First is that when we are employing mixed method research approach, we are combining depth from qualitative and breadth from quantitative data. When I say depth from qualitative and breadth from quantitative data is, through quantitative data, we can approach larger audience through sample survey. And when I say depth from qualitative means you can go deeper into the issue, deeper into the research problem through in-depth interviews, through focus group discussion, through observation method. So first justification is you are getting best of both worlds, quantitative as well as qualitative. Second justification is complementarity of both methods lead to greater certainty and wider implications in conclusion. I would take an example of, you could see election survey. Whenever there is election, a lot of television channels, they come up with survey. Now, before a survey, if you ask someone who is going to win, either the person is going to give you the gut feeling, have I lost the voice?
It's audible, sir. It's
Am I audible?
Audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just thought I have lost my voice.
No, sir. Sir, please continue with your lecture. All the questions will be after the lecture. Probably, sir, has lost the.
Sorry, I got disconnected. I am back here.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, sir,
Let me share it again.
please share your screen, sir.
So I was giving you an example of election survey. So if you ask someone who is going to win, everyone will say X is going to win, Y is going to win, but the person is not sure. And when you deploy a survey, you get more idea. And when you get the survey results and then you go on TV and ask the panelists, I have these survey results, immediately you would see they'll be able to give you answer. Oh, yes, the party X is going to win election because of so and so issues. They were not sure before, whatever they wanted to say, but when you have presented them with data, then it gives them conviction to speak. And you would see, you'll be having your friends, once the election result comes, वो बोलेगा, अरे मुझे तो पता था यही जीतने वाला था, ये XYZ रीजन है, ठीक है? अभी डेटा आ गया तो he is able to speak. Prior to that, he was not able to speak. So second reason, the both methods, they complement each other. Third, Overcoming epistemological differences. Epistemology, I have just discussed, if you remember, ontology and epistemology. What is ontology is nature of reality, and epistemology is how do we know about that reality. So we overcome the epistemological differences in quantitative and qualitative issues. Third is rigorous conclusion by leveraging the strength of each methods, right? We have discussed earlier also. Uh, we have strength. Each method has its own strength and its own weakness. Quantitative has its own strength and own weakness. Qualitative has its own strength and own weakness, right? So we can leverage the combining the strengths of both and compensating their weaknesses. Fifth is triangulation component enhances the validity and credibility of the results. You have now reasoning also about your result. For example, I took the election survey example. You went into the masses, you took the survey whom you are going to vote, right? And then you have the election survey results that party X would get 45% vote, party Y would get 38% vote, and others would get rest of the votes. But these are just numbers. You don't know why this is happening, why party X is going to get 45% vote, why party Y is going to get 38% vote. You don't know. Now what you could do is you can employ then qualitative methodology. You can go to 5-10 experts who are political observers or past many years, and you can show them those results and ask them why this is happening. And then they could give you logical conclusion why this is happening. So what is happening is you are now able to triangulate better. And now you are able to establish the validity and the credibility of your results better, right? And sixth, that we have written, you could see on screen, developing more effective and refined conclusion, right? By using one method's result to inform the use of another method. For example, just I took this example of election survey. You got a election survey result from one method, that is quantitative method, and then you informed that, and then you went to another method, that is qualitative. You conducted interviews of few of the experts. So in the process, what you did, your conclusion became more effective and more refined, right? So therefore, this mixed method design, they help us, they assist us in studying more complex problems that we could do only by utilizing quantitative or qualitative research. So what are some of the key considerations when we are trying to utilize mixed method research? So please remember, if you are an early career researcher and if you don't know much about mixed method research, it's very important that we know selection of proper mixed method research design. So we need to understand these three major aspects. Number one, relative priority of approaches. So we have to decide the importance of qualitative and quantitative data in answering these research questions. So whether we are going to have quantitative priority or we are going to have more emphasis on quantitative data collection and lesser on qualitative, or we are going to have more emphasis on qualitative priority and lesser on quantitative, or we are going to have equal priority to both of them. This is one. Then second issue is level of interaction between data sets. So we have to determine how qualitative and quantitative approaches they will interact, right? Whether we are going to have both of them independent, both studies independent, and we mix the results of both studies after analyzing data of qualitative and quantitative studies independently, or we are going to mix the stages, right? Are we planning to mix at the level of design, at the level of data collection, or level of analysis or interpretation? This we have to understand. And third one is timing. So three issues. What is our relative priority of the approach? Second, level of interaction. And third, timing of approaches. So we have to decide whether qualitative and quantitative methods will be used sequentially or concurrently, right? Please do think. For example, I have employed quantitative and qualitative approach at the same time. That is concurrent. So both are independent. When I say sequentially, I have conducted one thing first and followed by the other thing. The example that I gave you just now of election survey, you conducted an election survey, quantitative election survey, and then you went with those surveys to experts. So this is sequential. There is a sequence. You did quantitative first and informed that to the experts and got their opinion. Or you could have done what? You could have conducted an election survey quantitative separately, and at the same time you could have talked to the experts separately. They don't know you conducted a survey. They don't know the data, right? So these approaches, three approaches, we have to think these three major aspects, how we are going to conduct mixed method research. First number is to whom we are going to give priority, quantitative or qualitative, or we are going to have equal weightage. Second, what would be the level of interaction of data sets? And third, what would be the timing of approach, whether one would follow the another or they would go together, right? Next question is, which mixed method design we should use? So we've already discussed that we plan to utilize both of them together to have their strengths better. So mixed method research involves integrating qualitative and quantitative research approaches, but the complexities can arise if we have not thought about the ontological and epistemological position. So the new researcher, they should treat this mixing method as one research approach to simplify data integration and interpretation. The core common mixed method research types prevalent in this are in further slides we'll understand, and then you would know which would be the best option for you. But I would suggest you to study more about, at the end I'll give you the list of books and few articles from Creswell and Abbas, etc., to understand more. So we are going to illustrate them. So three major, there are many, but because this is introductory lecture, so three major designs I'm going to discuss. for about next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we are going to have question answer session. So first is the convergent design. Then you have explanatory design and then exploratory design. So convergent design is also known as parallel mixed method design. So as you could see, parallelly it is going quantitative data collection, qualitative data collection, and quantitative analysis, qualitative analysis is going parallelly, and then you do interpretation, right? Then comes explanatory design, which we also call as explanatory sequential design. So what you could see from here is you have done quantitative data collection, you have done quantitative analysis, and then you have done qualitative data collection and then qualitative analysis, and then you have done interpretation. And the third one is exploratory design, which is also known as exploratory sequential design. So the bottom two, they both are sequential design. The second one is explanatory sequential design. The third one is exploratory sequential design. So what you could see is qualitative data collection first, then qualitative analysis, then quantitative data collection, and then quantitative analysis, and then interpretation. Now let us discuss about them one by one in little more detail. So convergent parallel mixed method design, right? As I said, it follows pragmatism, not positivism, not interpretivism, but pragmatism, right? All mixed method design, they follow pragmatism. So this is an efficient and a very popular approach to mixing the quantitative and qualitative research design. And these two different approaches, namely our qualitative and quantitative methods, are mixed to triangulate results, right? And analyzing the two data sets concurrently or independently, right? Now, this is an approach, as I said, in which we are combining the two data sets to get a complete picture of issue being explored and to validate one set of findings with other. So let's take example where one researcher is examining the utilization of digital technologies in education, right? You would have seen post-COVID, we have a lot of e-classes. Right now, what we are doing is sort of e-class, online classes, right? A lot of courses which people do online, right? Certifications. Say we are doing a research on examining the experiences of Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just thought
Yes, sir.
to reconfirm it once more. So now what I do is I speak to some of the faculty members. What is your experience? This is sort of I'm interviewing them, or maybe I'm making them sit in a group and I'm doing FGD, focus group discussion. And what are the challenges? What are the hurdles they're facing, right? And similarly, at the same time, concurrently, I am conducting a survey and giving them questionnaire and asking them about the digital technologies that they are using. to understand the issue. Now, as a researcher, I am collecting quantitative data from a survey and qualitative data from interviews. And what I am doing is I'm examining if the findings that I got from these two different data sets, they are converging or they are diverging, right? They are going to same point or they are giving me different pictures, right? So in case if the result diverges, they are giving me different pictures, right? So what I could do is, as a researcher, I can explain the findings by re-examining the results and collecting little more data. Or I can explain the quality of the data set, right? I could think why these two approaches are giving me different results, right? And if they are converging, still I am able to explain them, right? Now, in the analysis phase, a researcher can always look for common concepts across the both data sets, right? So when we are integrating in this convergent design, we could do it by two methods. One, by presenting the findings of qualitative study followed by the quantitative study, or vice versa, by presenting the findings of quantitative study followed by qualitative. Or what we could do is we can transform the qualitative data into counts and then integrate the transformed qualitative data sets into qualitative data sets, right? So in the later case, when we are converting qualitative data sets into numbers, counts, right? What we could do is we can identify codes. So this design, convergent parallel mixed method design, can be useful in certain conditions. Number one, when the researcher has limited time, you don't have a lot of time to do quantitative first and then do qualitative. Therefore, you started both of them together, right? When you need both qualitative and quantitative information from the participants, and when you have the skills required to handle both quantitative and qualitative methods. Also, when you don't want the respondents know about the quantitative results, right? Just again take the example of election survey. When you tell them this is my survey, these parties are going to get these many votes, and then if you ask somebody's writing screen is not visible. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, visible. Visible to all, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I've just forgotten. I was using this election result, right? Election survey. So if you give the respondent the quantitative data set and then ask who is going to win, he'll immediately tell. Because the quantitative result may color the eyes of the respondent, or the respondent is now more informed. So respondent may not give you his or her opinion, but rather respondent may like to give what is already there in quantitative results. If you don't want that, then you would like to make both of them go parallel, right? Also in this design, as a researcher, you have to think the possibility of having different sample sizes in quantitative, in qualitative. So there was a research conducted by a researcher. He was exploring the impact of secondary education examination English test on students and their parents in Nepal. So in this study, what the researcher did, he collected data through a survey where sample size was 247 with students, and then he recorded orally their views also by 6 students for 3 months, right? So that is about 72. And then interviewed their parents about 24. And in this study, he used concurrent timing, right? Meaning both quantitative and qualitative data were collected at the same time, but they were independent of each other, right? Why he did this? Because he wanted that there should be no chance that one approach is influencing another approach, as it would do in sequential design, which we would follow, right? So what he did was he had 2-3 data sets through quantitative and qualitative study, and then he combined them during the data interpretation phase only, when he was interpreting the data. Okay, and these 2 data sets, they complemented each other and also supported the author to triangulate the findings drawn from qualitative methods and results from quantitative methods, and vice versa. Second is explanatory sequential design. Organizers, if you don't have time, please let me know. I'll take another 5-10 minutes. I hope you have time.
Yes, sir. You can take your time, sir. You can take.
Right.
You can take your time, sir.
So, explanatory sequential design, it involves 2 different interactive phases. And the beginning with collection and analysis of quantitative data to expand the first phase quantitative results, followed by the designing of the second phase, that is qualitative phase, on the basis of quantitative finding. Let's take an example. You are doing a survey, research on customer satisfaction of petrol pumps, right, in your city. So you have a questionnaire, already used questionnaire you have taken, you conducted a survey, and you got certain results. This is quantitative phase. And then with those results, you went to the dealers of petrol pump dealers, you went to the managers of maybe IOCL, HPCL, BPCL, and showed them the results. And then you took their opinion, why this is happening, right? And then you converged both of the issues together, right? Integrated both of them. So this is, you are explaining, so the word explanatory, you are doing it is in a sequence. So the terminology sequential design, okay? So what we are doing is, as a researcher, we are following up on specific quantitative findings, and then we are explaining it with the qualitative data, right? Once the important, significant predictors are identified through statistical measures, quantitative measures, right? Then we are going to experts or respondents to talk about them, right? And getting the answers, right? This study has a dominance of quantitative phase, followed by focus group discussion or interview method. Next is exploratory sequential design. So you see, this is explanatory sequential design. This is exploratory. When you use the term exploratory, means qualitative is more here. You could see here. The third one, qualitative first, then quantitative, right? So when you have a very little understanding about the research problem, what you do is, before making a questionnaire, before conducting a survey, you go to experts, you discuss with them about your problem, and this is sort of three-phase study. During the first phase, you will explore the issue in depth, and then you will reach the second place, right? Where you would identify and measure the variable, you would identify and see the statistical trend. And the qualitative data that you have gathered and analyzed in the first phase, through that you have collected quantitative data and then you've tested. So as I said, this design begins with collection and analysis of qualitative data. Building from the qualitative findings, you create quantitative measures or instruments, and then you develop them. And finally, you as a researcher quantitatively test the variables that you have identified and interpret in what ways the quantitative data generalizes and extends the qualitative findings, right? We call this wrong slide, exploratory sequential design. There was a research paper by Muns et al. In 2021 who utilized this exploratory sequential design to demonstrate how this design can be used for complex intervention development in self-management program for individuals with spinal cord injury. Now, this study had 4 phases. Phase 1 was qualitative approach. What the researcher did, he conducted telephonic interviews of 26 individuals, right? And after conducting that telephonic interview, he finalized a questionnaire, survey questionnaire, and then in the phase 2, the themes that emerged from phase 1 were used, right, to design the survey and administer the survey. Then he had phase 3, where he collected quantitative data via survey with 99 participants. And then both these quantitative and qualitative findings were merged, integrated in the final 4th phase, right? So this author, what he is arguing is, this design provided him with the opportunity to identify complementary, to converge the different phases. Then comes, I have just explained these 4 phases. First, qualitative data collection, analysis via interviews, using the results from phase 1 to build a survey, because you don't know about that problem. So you have talked to the experts or respondents and got the variables what I should do. And then you conducted quantitative data collection analysis via survey, and then you merge phase 1 and phase 2 results, and you conducted an interpretation. Now, what could be challenges in using mixed method design? First, it could be lengthy. The data collection process could be lengthy. Analysis process can be costly and time consuming. If you are, say, for example, if you're doing PhD, you will not be having that much time to conduct qualitative and quantitative both. Maybe for a researcher, understanding qualitative and quantitative data and integrating them, combining them together could be difficult due to lack of guidance. because we are mixing positivist approach and interpretivist approach, and therefore we are not able to understand the philosophical frameworks. It could be difficult for us. Then fourth challenge could be choosing a proper design and maintaining quality in data integration, right? There could be a case when one method may influence the data collection and or interpretation of another method. Uh, it could happen mainly in the sequential designs, right? Where the findings drawn from the first method that is survey data, may influence the second method. You would have seen, if you see the TV panelists before the election, how they are discussing about which party would win, which party would win. And first, when the results of election are announced, right, you could say quantitative phase, and then you see their discussion, it would be totally changed. They would be like saying, yeah, I was knowing this is going to happen, right? So what is happening is the quantitative data is now influencing their qualitative views. So it could happen, right? And fifth is to understand which mixed method design is appropriate for my particular study and incorporate that, right? So another challenge is developing the skills in both qualitative and quantitative. These are the challenges. And what could be the criticism of mixed method research? So many researchers, they hold different views. Many incompatibilists, I have used the terminology, they argue that no, these two approaches are different, right? They are like apple and oranges, two different things. You can't mix them. You have to use either quantitative or qualitative. You should not mix them, right? Another criticism is it can face pitfalls. For example, insufficient data analysis leading to weak conclusions, lack of focus, etc. So I'm not going much on criticism because I would like you to utilize this. This is already 7:11. I open the house for questions, but before that, if you can click the picture of this slide, this is some further reading. If you want to know more about mixed method research, you can go through these books. These are the books, 8 books I propose, and these are the articles. I'm proposing these books. You can click this, not this one, you can click this one, books. And then these are the few articles and chapters which you would like to go through. So thank you very much. I open the house for question and answer. Organizers to decide how you are going to take questions, through chat box or they will speak. Dr. Nitin, you are mute.
Okay. Now I am audible, sir. Sir, am I?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are.
So thank you for Dr. R.S. Rai, sir, from Amity. And the section is open for questions. So if anybody has any query, as I was telling you to write down your query, please raise your hands so that the queries can be taken in a sequential manner. But there are certain queries that is writing. Okay, my voice is too low. Okay, just a second.
I'll read the queries, no issue.
Mr. Raman Atwal.
Yeah, Raman, can you ask your question?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Dr. I, am I audible?
Yes, please, yes.
Yeah, so you rightly mentioned about one example you quoted in which you are saying about the customer satisfaction at, petrol pump, in which you were in the first phase, you are saying that what exactly consumers are saying, and then for the second phase in which you are going for the managers of IS, you're like, why it happened, right? So this is the case in which we are examining what is the situation and then why it is. For example, my question is regarding only the what part only. For example, in which in the first phase I am going to go for the customer satisfaction of the fossil fuel consumption ones, and the second one is the like for the EV vehicle, right, in which both the data collection has been done a different manner, but I have to combine the results. So can we do it through mixed methodology, and what are the reliability of this kind of methods, so in which we are focusing on phase one also what part and phase two also what part?
Yes, yes, you can certainly do that, provided you have taken care, right? Probably you are trying to make two separate questionnaires, one for fossil fuels and one for EV. And where in the EV you have discussed the what are the movers of the EV and what are the barriers of the EV, and then you have clubbed them, and then you can go to the experts of EV industry, of fossil fuel industry, and you can show them the results, right? For example, just take an example. Say in fossil fuel industry, what you have found is the male part, they were 65% satisfied with the fuel petrol pumps, and females were only 35% satisfied. Now, this is the data. You don't know why this is happening because you have not spoken to them. You just ask, what is your satisfaction level? Finish. You don't know why this is happening. So when you go to the dealers or when you go to the senior people, they see, I have strange results. 65% men are satisfied and only 35% women are satisfied with your petrol pumps. Now they can tell, you see, one of the major issues could be the toilets that the petrol pumps have provided. And when you mix it with EV, you charge at your home and you go. You don't have to go to the petrol pump to get your EV charged. And maybe you get in the EV result, women are more inclined towards EV than men. It may happen. I'm not sure whether it will actually happen or not. And then you go. So they may say we have because they are on the field. They know we understand that the toilets are not clean in our petrol pumps, and the ladies have a lot of problem using them, and therefore they are not satisfied. While men, they don't face that much problem, and therefore their satisfaction level is more. Now what is happening is you conducted a quantitative study, you had certain result in front of you. As a researcher, you were not knowing why this is happening. When you spoke to few of the experts and you got this idea. Now what you could do is, when you are writing conclusion, you would say the quantitative study informed this thing, and during my qualitative phase, the experts have informed me this thing. And therefore, in your conclusion, you can tell, you can recommend to the petrol pump owners or the companies to have better toilet facilities, clean toilet facilities. This could come out of one of your research recommendation, right?
Yeah, thanks, Roy. But just
You
my
have
my
written, Mr. Raman, please, one question per person.
so this is the follow-up question in which I'm just asking. I have just depicting the example part only. So my broader question is, can we generalize the result derived from the different data sources? So this is my broader spectrum for this question.
Yes, yes, you can. Absolutely. Depends upon you have taken care of your shortcomings, etc., and you've written in your research report. You
Okay.
have asked about this research paper, right?
Yes,
Of
sir.
spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
Please note down. It's MUNC, MUNS, or Gutterman, GUETTERMAN, or let me search it. I got it. मैं आपको इसमें चैट बॉक्स में दे देता हूँ, कॉपी कर देता हूँ.
Thank
I
you, sir.
got DOI also. मिल गया आपको, देखिए. Any other question? Yeah, Mr. Velagla, you raised your hand.
Good evening, sir. Sir, in the exploratory method, there are 4 steps as they know, sir. In the first step, we to go for qualitative method. Can we call it as pilot study?
You can call it as a pilot study, no doubt. Through that pilot study, you are picking up what variables I should study, what should be there in my survey, my questionnaire. You can call it a pilot study, but not necessarily every time. Pilot study could be quantitative also. When you have made a questionnaire and when you did a small quantitative study to further improvise your questionnaire, right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, could you write in chat box how you have liked this or what improvements you want, and then I go for the organizers because they have another session to conduct. Just type 2-3 words. It would be enough.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Dr. Manish.
Yes, please.
Sir, thank you very much. Your presentation is very nice. If participant, if any questions, so please ask to sir.
I think there are no more questions. So thank you very much to the organizers
Thank you,
for
sir.
inviting me and to talk to your audience. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Nitin ji. Mute कीजिए अपने को.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Your voice is disturbing.
So I was on mute, sir.
Actually, your voice is lagging and disturbing, breaking.
Hello. Now it is fine. Hello.
Hello.
Now my voice is audible, sir.
Yes, voice is your breaking. Nitin ji.
I don't know why it is asking after my actually, sir.
Nitin sir, restart your Google Meet.
Okay. So I will do this now. Actually, sir, please introduce the next step.
Nitin sir, you are not audible.
Nitin ji, we are starting now second session. Good evening, all of you. Now we are cordially inviting Dr. Pradeep Mishra, sir. He is the assistant professor in College of Agriculture, Rewa, and his specialized in agriculture statics, and he also published in research articles in international and national reputed journals, and it is in Pradeep sir's expertise area is agriculture statics. Now, I cordially invite to Dr. Pradeep Resarch. Hello.
Yeah, Manish sir, thank you for giving the information about me. So my voice is clear.
Yeah, your voice is audible.
Yeah, and I think my screen is also visible, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Yeah, okay. So may I start? Hmm.
yes. स्क्रीन को extend कर दिया.
Yeah, yeah.
ठीक. Oh, now start.
Oh, okay. So good evening to everyone for second day of this research methodology and bibliometric analysis and data analysis using R. So before going to because day after tomorrow your R session will also start. So just I will give some little information about the use of statistical tool for the publication of the research articles in high impact journals. Actually, during this session, I will try to explain about my 4 years experience, what I had and gained during my publications. So just I will start with that before going for the statistical tool, I will give some journal information about the publication and articles submissions. Before the article submission, it is very important to check the manuscript properly. Okay, if you are having any authentic software like Turnitin or Grammar Turnitin, so Springer like elsewhere like journals are definitely looking for the less plagiarism. If the plagiarism is high, so editor desk it will automatically say that article is out of scope, and without giving for the any review they will reject in editor desk also. So if you want that at least your article go for the review in high impact journals, so first step is that similarity index or plagiarism should be less than 15%. If it is less than 15%, then only editor will think if the article is scope of the journal. Otherwise, if it is scope of the journal also, but plagiarism is quite high, so they will not proceed further. Secondly is language. After the checking the plagiarism also, the plagiarism language is also important. If it is not properly grammar is not correct, language is not correct, then also because editors are always sending the article for review, first they will read once, they will check the quality check like plagiarism, grammar check and language. So these two three things are very important for the check to before the submission to journal. So some of the free uh, option is there like Grammarly and Ginger. You can add to your Google Chrome, and just you can give the information. Just you can correct the grammar of the your manuscript. Like if you are having the some good articles, so just you can use that articles language also. But for this quillbot also, if you are want to reduce the paraphrasing, so you can use that also. I am not saying to use every time, but some of the times if you are unable to manage, so you can use that thing. But here is the important thing is, if you use this kind of language improvement or paraphrasing software, so after the paraphrasing just read once whatever the conversion have done, because sometimes what happen, because this is system based paraphrasing software, if you want the economics development, so it will give the different type of languages like economics increment. So maybe that increment language is not appropriate for that manuscript. So you have to, after doing the paraphrasing also, you have to read the again that your manuscript language again. Sometime, most of the time, researcher after doing these things, they are actually thinking that where to submit my manuscript and where it will be published fast, what will the publication time. So Springer, Elsevier, and MDPI also are having their journal finder, where you can just put the manuscript title and manuscript text, and after entering that, Springer will give the so many journals option which will be matched to your relevant manuscript. Like if I enter my title and abstract, so they will give that which journal is suitable, what is their first decision time, and what will be their acceptance rate. If the acceptance rate also you can check, impact factor also you can check, and decision time also you can check. So this is the also one good option after doing all quality check. And if your manuscript is ready, so you can before submission you can compare your article, and you can see the journal that they have your manuscript is under that scope or not. If it is not the same scope of the journal, so you can go for the another journal. Like elsewhere also is having the journal finder, where you can put their article title and paper abstract. So they will also give the option where you can submit your manuscript. Now, the important thing is the our topic, the use of the statistical tool for the publication of research article in high impact journal. Actually, almost 90 except the review articles, almost all study statistical tools play very important and crucial role for the publication. The graphical representation, how we done our analysis and done the validation of the research using statistical tool, very important. So before going for the conducting the research study design, so where we are collecting the data and which statistical tools should be employed during the planning to determine the appropriate sample size and data collection method. Because if we are according to our objective of the study, we are selecting the sample size and data collection method. So study design is very important before going for the statistical analysis. Now, data analysis used to analyze research data including descriptive statistics. Why we are using this descriptive statistics? Sometimes people are asking me also, this what is the use of this mean, maximum, minimum things, skewness and kurtosis. But actually we are using this simple descriptive statistics or inferential statistics for the to see the nature of the data. It will not tell about the right or wrong, but if you are presenting your data in a simple table, so at least reviewer can understand what is the nature of the data, how much data range is there. Now, after the and also it helps for the data handling also, because descriptive statistics tell about that how much the standard error and standard deviation. If data variability is also high, so it will help us. So it will very good, because it sometime happen that after doing the statistical analysis, reviewer may ask the question that why result is coming like that or variability is high there. So better to go for the statistical analysis, just go for the proper data handling. Maybe sometime happened we are doing the copy paste or data entering also, so maybe some mistakes may be happen. So doing this we can make proper data handling. And statistics enables researcher to make inference about the population based on the sample data. Advanced techniques such like regression, ANOVA, machine learning, according to our objective we can use that. Hypothesis testing, that is very important, because if we are doing any study, so what is our we are making null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. It is very important, because according to our hypothesis we are making validating our results. So and it will also help for the reliability of the finding. Data visualization, nowadays if you see some of the good papers also in high impact journals. So two things happen if you are presenting same results in tables and same results in graphical visualization. So reviewer may ask that results are same, either you keep the graphs or either keep the tables. Or sometime it happens that same thing we can represent by the data visualization also. So it will be very easy for the reviewer and audience who are reading the your manuscript that results are very clear, and by making some good data visualization graphs, charts and plots, we can make some effective show some effective results also. So some of the research paper nowadays actually publishing without tables, only by figures also we can publish the articles. Now, statistical validation. If we are using ANOVA or we are doing analysis like correlation, regression, whatever we are doing, validation are very important. If you are seeing the significance also, so it will make also positive impact to reviewer that they have done proper justification with the statistical analysis. So I will suggest that if you are doing analysis, so just don't go for the simple analysis. If it is possible, try to validate your results also. Meta-analysis is also important to use for the combined analyzed data for the multiple studies on the specific topics. Collaborate with statistician. Everyone is not a statistician. So if you feel that or you are not confident about your statistical skills, or if you find that some statistician can help you in study, so before conducting the study, it is very important just collaborate with some statistician and describe about the your data collection method and objective. Because if you discuss with any statistician, so always they will talk about what is your objective and what kind of your data collection. So it is always better to collaborate with some statistician. Follow journal guidelines. If you are submitting any journals, so it is very important to follow the journal guideline, because every journals are having their specific formatting requirement exceptional for the statistical reporting. So it will also increase the chance of your acceptance, because editor will like that you are very serious about that your publication. Okay, if you are not formatting and simply submit the article, so they will think that you are not serious about your study. Either they will reject or they will tell if the editor is very serious. So that time also they can tell, just follow the journal guideline and accordingly you submit your manuscript. Now stay updated with statistical techniques. Nowadays so many statistical technique is there, and if you use different research platform like ResearchGate, Researcher, LinkedIn, so you will get so many information, and in Google also, that what is the latest statistical tools is going on. So accordingly try to use some advanced technique if it is possible to your research, because if you are doing something different or using different graphical way, so it will attract to editor and reviewer. So sometime it happen if you are doing so many hard work, so sometimes small one or two mistakes can be hide, because editor or reviewer may be attract with this some advanced technique, journal follow guidelines and the language statistical validation. Okay, so now source of the data and information about the statistical analysis. This is I have kept some example of the my research articles which is published in Springers, where you can say this data collection method also. This is published in the Modeling Earth System and Environment, which is Q1 journal, and the impact is having 3.5. So where you can see that I have clearly mentioned about the data period where I have how much data I have collected and what is the data source. Then I have kept that what is the data I have kept for the model building and how much I have kept for the model validation, and which statistical software I have used. In 5-6 line, I have tried to kept enough information about my data. So nobody can challenge that and I have hide anything. How much we can explain about our data or how much information we can tell about data. It will give that much percent to our acceptance of our manuscript. Now you can see second article also, where I have used that SPSS version and I have used the Duncan multiple test, and from where we have used the data, that I have also mentioned, that how much confidence interval I have used for the analysis, that also I had mentioned. Now this is the second manuscript which is published in the current research in food science, where also we kept information about our data, then data model building, then remaining 20% we have used for the testing, and which statistical software we have used, that I have also mentioned. So source of data information about the statistical analysis is very important to give in material and method section. Okay. Now schema of the article mentioning about the statistical method. There is 2 points to kept this schema in the our manuscript. 2 or 3 days before, I was trying to submit one manuscript in annual of the applied biology, where they don't have the option of the graphical abstract. Now they are having the option of the graphical abstract, and that is mandatory option. I can't submit my manuscript without graphical abstract. Or if the journals don't have that graphical abstract option, so schema, this schema can give the 100% information about your material and method, because it is not possible for every time to write new methodology. But if you see this, I have mentioned about the database, that what is the states I have selected for the study, how much data I have used for the training and testing, which models I have used for the comparison, ARIMA, hybrid, and what is the model selection criteria. So in one image, I have mentioned about the schema or overall flow chart of the work. So if we can make this also, so it will give the additional benefit for our manuscript to acceptance for high impact journals. These small things can help us for the publishing our manuscript. Okay, because if we want to publish high impact journals, so we have to see all our small things. Okay, it is not possible that in one section we have done lot of effort and one section we kept a very small, doing lot of mistakes. So every section we have to make very, give all effort attention to the manuscript. This is the second schema of the manuscript, where you can see that data set is given, data processing is there, and the what is the model development is there. Okay, and this below also we have mentioned about the figure, that what is the model selection criteria we have used for the during the investigation. So every study have their different schema, but you can think and just you can make a flow chart and you can prepare this kind of schema for your manuscript. Use of good statistical figure instead of tables in manuscript. Okay, so if anyone see that this table 2, so there are a lot of values are there, and very if I am reviewer, so I have to see properly that which one is statistically different, which one is superior, because they are just mentioned this is the mean and standard deviation of the manuscript. But if the sum of the manuscript, I have used these figures instead of this table, So that is more appropriate for the reviewer and audience to understand about the result. No need to see that each and everything. So if it is possible to use, to you so try for the good figures instead of the tables. Different type of visualization. Just simply making bar chart, it will not make sense if you are using bar chart with standard error, which error indicates about the data variability. So it will also help. Like most of the participants for the statistical biological field or lab field also, so if they are doing any field condition or lab condition trial, so what they can do, they can clearly use this mean separation letters also in their results. Okay, so which is also helpful for the understand the results clearly. Here I mentioned in the beginning also that we have to use the advanced statistical technique for the analysis. So just I have make one simple example for the treatment comparison, which we are doing in the design of experiment, like lab conditions or field condition trial. So here for the same result, we are having the 5 different methods. But what is the internationally peoples are actually recognizing and what peoples are using? So Tukey test is an actually peoples are using in internationally. So this Tukey test we can use for our manuscript and article. This I mentioned that we have published one article in plant biology, which is having 4 impact factors, where we have shown the statistical difference by using these figures. That same manuscript, we don't had any tables, just we had only figures. Okay, so by using this, we can publish article. Only we had 3 figures, and we published. We are able to publish the article. So it is very important. If without table also we can publish the article. Now, what editor looks for a manuscript? So quality is definitely. I mentioned that before going for the review process. Editor will think that article should be according to journal scope, the way of presentation is good, and the plagiarism and similarity index should be low. Okay, demonstration and how much they cited. I think someone speaker is on. Yeah. So how much we have demonstrated or how much we have cited our article, means article should be look like a story. It should not like be scattered that material method is saying different thing or it is not according to objective. So just I mentioned that every section of the manuscript we have to work hard, then it will, and don't submit article in hurry. Are always better to read your manuscript properly before submission, because if we submit article in hurry, so maybe it will reject or go for the unnecessary major revision, and again we have to again do a whole effort. So before submitting, if we are doing some internal effort or internal review, so it will be very helpful for the publication. A strong introduction. After the, because in abstract we are giving the information about the our data, manuscript, our key finding, but a strong introduction will also help, because how much we are making the introduction stronger and using the good review during introduction, so it will be very helpful. And end of the introduction, that objective should be comes according to, and some past studies has been be compared. And it will be good if we can compare that some past studies with the latest studies. Results should be clear and concise. Don't avoid the repetition of the text, because sometimes it happens that we are having so many similar kind of tables. So don't try to write same way, try to explain that result in different manner. okay, and try to explain more about the tables and figures. Discussion should be start strongly, and it should be aimed, it should be connected with the objective which we have mentioned in the introduction section, and discuss significantly implication of the result. This is the journal publication process. If you see this flowchart, so submission and reject. When it will happen in submission and it is rejecting, when when article is having high similarity or plagiarism, language is not good, the way of presentation is not good, so it will be rejected in editor desk. Referee and rejected. Maybe if editor desk you are able to cross your manuscript, so referee, if they find that articles don't have any depth or nothing is novelty is there, so they can reject also. It is not necessary requirement that if article is come for revision, so it will be accept. It will be accept only when we are in a trying to complete all the comments of the referee, and it will be always advisable if the journals are having the author response file or not, but always try to submit author response file against the referee, because if and try to highlight the correction what you have done, because if you doing this, so it is easy for the referee also that whatever the comments he have done, so you have able to correct or not. And one more important thing, if you are confident about your manuscript, so not required that you have accept all the referee comments. If you are not agree with referee comments, so just give why you are not agree with their comments, okay, with proper reference. You can quote that this is the reason why you are not able to correct that correction. And if the all the things is good, so it will be accept or go for the revision. After more revision it can go. So this is the overall process for the article processing. Before you submit, again internal review is important. If you are having good team, so you can transfer your manuscript to 2-3 person in your circle, and just you can go for the internal review. Follow the format and submission instruction. That is very important, that what is the journal format is there from the, because every journals are there having specific requirements, so just try to read carefully. Write a cover letter. It should be clearly mentioned about your which journal you are submitting the article. If you are going to submit in any special issue, that also mention, and what is the your aim. It should be come under the cover letter. All the article, because nowadays multidisciplinary authors are working together. So it will be better to take the consent of all the authors before the submission, and try to submit your manuscript in one journal in one type. Don't try to submit one manuscript in two journals. It will be conflict of interest also, and it will be not ethical. Okay, so don't try to submit your manuscript into two journals. Now here are the some article submission step for the high impact journals, where you have to first log in. After you are doing the login, it will come the window like that, where first they ask what is the article type: original, review, short communication, data article. So what is the your article? You have to mention it is original data article, review article, or short communication. Now if you see here, file, we have to upload here our files here. So title page and blinded manuscript. Title page means you have to mention about the your manuscript title and all authors detail in the title page. But blinded manuscript means you can't make any information about author here. You have to just mention about your manuscript with title. Do not keep any information about your authors here. Here tables and figures are not star, means you can keep your tables and figure in blinded manuscript. Okay, but some of the journals are having graphical abstract also where they kept star means it is mandatory to submit. Okay, just see requirement for submission, title page and blinded manuscript. This is both files are mandatory. Your article is coming under which classification, journals are asking. Then suggesting the reviewer, suggesting 3 reviewers required for submission. All good journals are always asking for the reviewers relevant to your field. So I am telling you one thing, sometimes it happened we are thinking that editors are very strict, but it is not like that. Always every editor wants that each and every article should be published, but it should be relevant to journals scope and it should be novelty and well structured. That's why they are asking to reviewer. So if you are giving anyone reviewer name, so try to give your circle which are actually expert in that field and try to inform also, because always it happens that if our editor is sending the manuscript for review, so they can use your suggested reviewer also. Okay, so it will be good to try to give expert of your field and to whom you can well connect and you can tell that you have given their name. Conflict of interest in statement. Nowadays every good manuscript or good journals always ask about the conflict of interest statement or funding. What is the funding is there, if additional any comments are there, so you can mention about the manuscript also. Full title, abstract, author information, funding, and after doing this build PDF for the approval. After doing this, just kindly read your PDF properly, and if everything is okay, so you can submit your manuscript. This is the indexing SCI, where journals are SCI, Web of Science. So one thing is very important, because I saw this slide in last. What is your requirement? It's very important. If you want to Scopus, SCI or Web of Science, so just see the index, what is the mention in the journal page, and try to check with their journal's homepage also. Okay, don't think that everything, because it happened with us also. We have submitted one article in mathematics journals, and that time it was in Scopus, and journal's website it is mentioned also that it is Scopus and Web of Science also. But when we have submitted article and it is published, after 6 months it is out of the Scopus. Okay, so be careful where you are submitting the articles, because during the submission also it normally not happened in a 1 year. But why it happened? Because we have submitted article, that time itself it was removed from the Scopus, but we have checked only the journal website. We have not checked any other links where we can check. So it will be very important to check the indexing also of the manuscript. Okay, so this is the some points I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, or so you can please ask. Thank you.
कोई पोस्ट कर दे व्हाट्सएप रे. It is requested to ask the questions one by one. It is requested to firstly raise your hand and then sequentially you can.
Then, sir, your voice is not clear.
Now,
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, just now only you have mentioned about this indexing, no, sir.
Yeah.
While we are submitting the paper, the journal is having that Scopus listed. After that, the Scopus that it is not in the coming next year, it is not listed in the Scopus means whenever we go for any assistant professor interview or anything, is that paper counted in the Scopus list or not? That's a small doubt is there, sir. Even for so many NAS journals also it happened.
Just see one thing
Earlier,
that if yeah, I got your point. Suppose if your article is published and that time it was in Scopus, okay, so it will
correct.
be come into, it will be automatically add to your Scopus ID. Next year, if it is not actually, if it is not in Scopus also, there is no problem, because I am showing my Scopus ID to you, where the some of the journals are already not in Scopus, okay, but still we some of the, but still it is in my Scopus ID, so there is no problem for me that I cannot because it is already added to my Scopus section, okay, so no need
Sir,
of
what about
worry.
NAS,
Once if
sir?
it what about
NAS rating.
NAS rating is when what is you suppose that year you have published article, that year's rating will be considerable. Okay, suppose 10 years before you have published the article, so that time your NAS rating is high, and after the NAS rating is down, so no need of worry. You can mention the same year NAS score. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Because earlier some journals are in NAS listed, now they are blacklisted. That's why.
Yeah. I know that that is the problem, but you can keep the that year NAS rating record with you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I am from Himachal Pradesh.
Hmm.
Hello.
Yes. Please
Uh,
tell.
yeah, sir, I would like to ask one question, that some journals are there in UGC care list number 2, but not in care list
Hmm.
1. So,
Hmm.
are these authenticated journals? Are those papers published in those journals or not?
Yeah, it is authenticated because it is already in UGK list 1 or 2. It is not a matter, but it should be mentioned. It should be mentioned in their list, and its proof should be required. Okay, there is no need of worry.
But sometimes some journals have been removed from care list 1, but they are in Web
Hmm.
of Sciences, so that is care list 2. So this is a problem.
Me- Means you are saying that they are removed from the UGC, but they are in Web of Science, right?
Yeah, they have been removed from UGC care list 1, but they are in Web of Sciences, that
Hmm.
is care list 2.
Okay, so you have to mention that thing also, na? It is UGC care 1 or 2, so it will be acceptable,
Yes.
not a issue. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Miss Neelam Thakurji.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, according to me, many
Mm.
reputed and good journal like the Pinjar and elsewhere, they ask for article processing charges,
Mm.
which are very high. Is there
Mm.
any journal in
Okay.
agriculture field which is in Web of Science,
Mm.
Scopus, or good impact factor, which is free of cost? Sir, I just want to know, is there any journal in agriculture?
Yes, I already mentioned about, because I am there are a lot of journals in agriculture which are free, which are having high impact. They don't ask any processing fees. Okay, like modeling our system and environment, or like sugar tech, these all are very free journals.
Okay,
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 there is
sir.
no need
And
to pay
how
any
much
money.
time
Okay.
they will take? How much time?
It will take around 3 to 4 months, and sometimes if the because just understand, it is, they totally depend on the reviewer. If they respond fast, so editor will process your article fast. Okay, so it is depend on the reviewer, but always after 26 days or 22 days, editor is always making the reminder to the reviewer to submit your review. Okay.
Mr. Sayyid
Okay,
Nadimuddin.
thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, you have already discussed about the data analysis techniques and the method, but
Hmm.
for the new researcher in the field of research, how
Hmm.
he will know about to these method can be practically performed in a system? Like,
Just see
uh,
for yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah. Please continue. Hmm.
Yes, sir. You continue.
Yeah, so your question is that how we can understand about the latest technique or
Yes, sir.
according to your field. So definitely, if you are doing the proper research, so you can and are doing the some past studies also. So I will tell just go for some and platform like ResearchGate, Researcher, where you can see the similar kind of study in search option, and Google also you can understand you if you enter your title relevant, so you will find so many studies, so you have to study the some uh,
Sir, yes,
articles.
sir, you are right, but I want to know that how this method can be practically. If I conduct a research and I have some data, then
Hmm.
how if without any statistician need help, I if I want to analyze that, then can you give me a better system or a better platform to where I can learn the analysis of data and practically I can go through it and convert my data analysis into a correct method.
Just see, okay, just see correct method. You should know about that what method you what is your objective and what objective should be required for the your analysis. But like if you want to learn about the some statistical tool like SPSS and Excel, so just design
Yes,
resource
sir.
server you can easily understand. Just you go to this design resource server where you have lot
Okay.
of numerical examples, where you by numerical example from the data import export and there and what is their process. Just I am showing, if you see my screen, so this is the
Yes,
screen
sir. I see.
where you so you where you can understand that how much analysis we can do ourselves if we are having some crack version of the SPSS also, so or a license version. So just see from the design of experiment, CRD, RBD, correlation, regression, factor, response surface. This all the analysis you can understand by using the and some of the module is also there. Module 1, module 2, where you can understand about the
Yes, sir.
data analysis process. Just see one example is there, descriptive statistics. In this platform, here you have the examples also where you can download this MS Excel. Now in down you see analysis using SAS and an analysis using SPSS. So here it will give the step by step process that how you can get your output. Like this is your blank data set. Now this is the data import, that how you can go for the descriptive statistics. Now at last of the end you can check your
Okay, sir.
output also. So slowly by
Thank you,
using
sir.
same examples you can
Mr.
directly learn.
Railu Solomon.
Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, some of the
Good
journals
evening.
which I published earlier, now it's showing in a star mark, sir, like it's removed from NAS. So,
Hmm.
like, will it be valid, sir?
No, you right now if this year they are having the star in their NAS score, means this year NAS has not given any NAS rating to those journals. Okay, so
Okay.
try for the different options. Don't go for the star or has journals, right? Because if they are having a star, so they can't do. But if they are having the has, means they are under review for the rating. Okay.
Okay, sir. Like already I
Yeah.
published, sir. After published, it came like that.
But if that year and that journals is having NAS rating, so that will be valid. If that year the journals is having the rating. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question is, as you said earlier about the quill bolt,
Hmm.
as I'm doing the paraphism in the quill bolt,
Hmm.
it's means like it's showing like out of the terms, like in agriculture sector, which I pasted, it's showing
Hmm.
the out of the terms, like any alternative like quill bolt you are having. Can you suggest, sir?
There is so many option, but Hannah, later you can contact to me, because in Quillbot already I mentioned that if you are using the paraphrasing, so you have to read down, because that is all, everything is computer based. Okay. And
Okay.
try one more thing. Nowadays chat gpt is there, so where you can also paraphrase your some of the manuscript, but every time you have to read. These are the some are computer based system, ai based system, so don't expect that everything will be coming appropriate every time. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Benjamin Appian.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, I just want to ask about this one meta-analysis. So, sir, if possible, can you explain a little bit more about meta-analysis?
Meta-analysis is about that if you are combining studies like 1 or 2 years data or 3 years data, so that time we can use, okay, for that meta-analysis techniques. Okay.
Okay, sir. One more thing, sir. So,
Mm-hmm.
sir, for meta-analysis and also we need to download some data and all from Scopus or from other things, sir. So when we are trying to download and then once we need some access and also for that one, how we have to do it? Can you
Can you repeat your question? Mm.
Sir, for doing this meta-analysis, no, sir, we need to download some data and all from the Scopus and all.
Mm-hmm.
So how we'll do, like how we'll download? Is there any like can you show some?
Just see, if you want some data from social science, so you can use the FAO, food and agriculture database, where you are having the multiple data sets for the every field. Okay, there is no need to go for the scopus, so where you can collect your data and then you can do your study according to your objective. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Saik Saha.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for your very nice presentation, sir. Sir, I have a question. As you have mentioned, the Web of Science and Scopus Index journals as well as UGC Care journals. So, can you please briefly say the difference between Scopus Index journals and like UGC Care journals? What are the basic difference in between all important terms, sir?
The important terms is that these all are indexing. Okay, this is it is not relevance to their any difference, but this is like NAS is having different indexing. So how much your journal is indexed, like UGC, Scopus, Web of Science or NAS, so it will show the quality of the journal. These terms are only about the indexing of the journal. Nothing is relevant to related to the quality of the journal. But if the journal is indexed every places, means you can use according to your career choice. Like everywhere is somewhere they are asking UGC, somewhere they are asking Scopus, somewhere Web of Science. But if the journals is indexed in every places, so there is no need of worry that if it is not covered or covered. Okay, so this is the meaning of the indexing.
Thank you, sir. I have one more question, sir. Sir, what is journal blacklisting, sir? And if a journal got blacklisted, whether the all the old publications also got rejected, whether they will be republished or what happens in that case, sir?
No, like just I mentioned earlier also. Suppose 2010, I had published one article, but now that journals is closed, or maybe it is transferred to some other journals or blacklist. It doesn't mean that my old publication will be closed. That time it was published, so it will retain like that only. Okay. Just understand.
Miss Abha, go ahead.
Just understand one thing. Just I am wanted to show this because this question is coming repeatedly. Suppose these journals are indexed in Scopus that time and it is added into my Scopus ID. Now next year it will be removed from the Scopus or Web of Science. It doesn't mean that it will be gone from the my this Scopus ID. Okay, it will remain here only. Okay, but in future if I publish any article again that journal, so it will not add to my Scopus ID. Okay, so if you are a beginner, so just try to create one Orchid ID also. Okay, so this Orchid ID also give you one specific identification about the author, because if I click here, okay, so it will give my publication only, because this is like a voter ID. So this is the researcher ID of the any of the researcher. Okay, where my all the information comes. Okay, so if the article is out of Scopus, no need of worry.
Miss
Thank you, sir.
Abha,
Thank
go
you so
ahead.
much.
Yeah.
Miss Abha, go ahead.
Wish you very good evening, sir, and thank you so much for this nice presentation. I want to ask you, sir, if I want to publish my paper on a Web of Science and Scopus, Q1 and Q2 journal only, and my budget is also not so much big. It should be free of cost or little budget. So from where I can get list of that all the journals which are indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, and the cost is also minimal and related to statistics, because I am a student of agricultural statistics, so I need to. So from where I can get list of those journals which I can pursue for my publication of my manuscript.
Just see my in presentation itself, I have mentioned this is the journal finder which can help you. Okay, where you can just put your title and manuscript, and you can and when you will submit, so it will ask also that you want subscription based or open access. If you are selecting the subscriptional base, so means there is no article processing charges required. And presently I can tell you that Springer and elsewhere 65 to 70% journals are free of cost, where no need of any APC. But if you need any help in future, so you can connect, no problem. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dr. Rahul Banadia ji. Dr. Rahul Budania ji. Dr. Rahul Budania, are you there? Mr. Gogi Reddy ji.
Sir, can you please suggest some NAS and Scopus index journals regarding social sciences, sir? Especially in extension.
Especially in
extension education.
Yeah, in extension there are so many social science journals are there, because already I mentioned. Sir, you are not audible. My voice is coming to you. Hello.
Audible, sir. Audible.
Not audible, sir. While you what you have done, please
Hello?
repeat it, sir. Please repeat it again, sir.
Yeah, I already mentioned that journals is should be according to the objective and the title of the journal. Okay, like Journal of Agriculture Extension or Journal of Social Science and Humanity. This is the some journals where they are having good impact factors and they are free of cost. Okay, Journal of Social Science and Humanity is having two impact factor. There are no article processing charges. Okay, so
sir,
you can submit.
Is it having NAS rating also, sir?
Yeah, if the journals are
NAS
having
and Scopus also.
Yeah, they are having the NAS and Scopus. If the journals is having the Clarivate impact factor, then it should be counted in NAS. But if they are having the normal impact factor, which is not relevant to Clarivate, So it will be not any NAS rating. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Journal of Extension and Humanity Sciences, no, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
There is any more questions? There is any more questions from Sri Siddhas Reddy? Sri Siddhas Reddy.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, my question is what are funding agents and from where can we get those funding agents?
Funding, again, Hannah, it is a very tough question, because if you want for funding, so you have to give the authorships also. But I suggest there are so many free journals, so don't try for the funding. But if you want for the funding is necessary, so there are so many platforms like ResearchGates or LinkedIn, where you can find some relevant authors which they are having the university funding, and they can help for the funds. Okay. But if you are okay, but one more option is there. But if the your university is able to fund, or if you are having any study under the project, so from there also you can cover your APC. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sayek Sahaji.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, I have one more question, sir. Sir, I am asking, sir. I have heard that for publishing journal in Springer, Elsevier, sometimes we have to give a huge amount of processing charge. So, is there any other way to skip that charge? Like, I have heard that there is some form, like kind of waiver form, which we, if we fill, then they totally make it free of cost. Like they just skip the charge and we can publish in Springer, Elsevier like that. Sir, can you please give some insight about that?
Yeah, like Anna, you mentioned that if the journals are open access only, there is no subscription base. So that condition, for one web of application, you have to submit to editor, where you have to mention that this manuscript does not having any funding from the your institution, and your head of the department or head of the institution will give this letter to their letterhead with proper seal and signature, because their proof is required that manuscript does not having any funding. Okay, so that time you have to submit that proof, then only you can get a web off. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, I have to submit that to Springer and like or Elsevier.
Anywhere, but before anywhere, but first you see if subscription option is there, so don't go for the open access unnecessary. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, any other question?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Said,
sir, actually, I want a little question regarding plagiarism. If I want to check the plagiarism for free, sir, you have any idea about the software that are free for doing the plagiarism?
Just see if just I mention about the high impact journal, like the plagiarism is there, but the high impact journals are always using the authenticate Turnitin. So some crack version is also available of Turnitin. So you can just buy that thing and use, because if you use for the check free plagiarism software,
Yes,
so
sir.
maybe in their Turnitin it will show high plagiarism, but in internet it will show less plagiarism. So again it will chance of the rejection of your manuscript.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Next
Iti
is
Sharma.
from Iti Sharma.
Good evening, sir. My question is, which one is more significant? Means if I opt for a journal to submit a paper, Scopus Index, NAS rating, or UTC listing, which one is more significant? Sir?
Just see, this is the very tricky question. What is your requirement? Some of the university is asking about the more than 6 NAS rating. Some are asking about the foreign authors or scopus, or some of the traditional universities only asking about the UGC. Okay, but if the journal is under scopus, so definitely is having the more and weightage. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else has any query? Anyone else? Please raise your hand.
Srisha Reddy.
Sir, what are the minimum subscription charges for Springer or Elsevier journals which have above 6 NAS rating?
No, there subscription charges means there is no subscription. If maybe some free journals are already there, already I mentioned. Okay, so don't worry about the subscription charges. Article submission is free, article review process is free, and one important point is there, because you raised this question. Some of the nowadays Facebook or Instagram, we are getting then option, or WhatsApp also some people are mentioning just publish your article 10 to 15 days, or just they are mentioning about the fake indexing. So don't go for this. There is no shortcut for the publication. These all are clone journals. So be careful. Okay.
So, sir, for subscription, we no need to pay any fees.
No subscription based, no fees is required to pay.
Okay, that means we just have to register ourselves.
Yeah, just you have to register and submit the article. When your article is accepting, so they will ask you, they will give one agreement letter where they will ask that you want subscription based or you want open access. If subscription based means journals is having all the rights of your articles. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah.
So then we have the next question from Sai.
Hello, sir. Sir, last question, sir. Sorry to disturb you again and again. Sir, actually, can you please suggest the best way to avoid the plagiarism, sir? While writing any research paper, we generally face a lot of plagiarism. So paraphrasing not always work, especially in the case of Turnitin software. So what could be the best way to avoid plagiarism, sir? Should we write from ourselves, or is there any AI tool or softwares which can help us, sir?
No, just see, if you want to properly write and avoid the plagiarism, so best way is just read 2-3 papers relevant to your manuscript, relevant, and try to write your own. That is the best way, because if you write down, read some research article related to your field, so you have almost an 80% idea that how I need to write this table or figure or introduction. Okay, so no need to totally depend on the quillboot or plagiarism. Better to read some article and
Okay, sir.
try to write your own. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, if we use the AI tools like ChatGPT or Google Bard, means then also sometimes plagiarism is coming, sir. And I have heard that in future such AI text detection software will also be evolved, sir. So, what is your suggestion regarding this? That, sir.
That's why I'm telling now, just read your past some published article and books and try to write your own. Then only all this problem can be your resolved. If you depend on this computing softwares like ChatGPT or Quillboot, so this problem cannot be solved. Okay.
Adding to that answer, Saif, your question was about the ChatGPT. Now there is an option alternative. It will automatically check and will inform you how much of your content is through AI assisted tools and through clipboard. So they will automatically tell you that what type of content you are writing with the help of AI, And with that, they will be able to penalize you and then make your manuscript rejected. So you must write your own. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Can we have the next question from Relu Salomi? Relu Salomi. Anuj Tanwar. Anju Tanwar. Anju Tanwar. Am I audible? Anju Tanwar. Am I audible or not?
You are audible, sir. Properly audible.
Nadeem Khan, sir. Can you ask a query? Last query from Abha Goyal, ma'am. Please lower down your.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Am I
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Sir,
Please, one by one, ma'am. Can I have the query from Abha Goyal, ma'am?
yes, sir. Sir, I want to ask you only that. So, Turnitin is the subscription-based application. Now, can we use that free of cost or anything from there where we can use Turnitin as a for plagiarism checking before submission of any manuscript in any journal?
Yes.
If I want to check plagiarism through Turnitin only, so how I can check without any large subscription fees, because Turnitin has a very huge amount which I can't pay. So what I can
Just
do?
just say one thing, that if you are having the different systems, so you can use their trial version also.
Yes.
But like you mentioned, that subscription is quite high, but you can get some crack version which are having working properly, so you can get also that. Okay, there is not a big issue nowadays to get
So
Turnitin
from
or
where
Quillbase.
from where I can get crack versions?
You can connect with me, I will share the
Okay, sir.
details. Okay,
Okay,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you very much.
Can we have the next question from Tharun? 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 Am I audible?
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, my doubt is like, will it be like any difference between article processing charges type of publication and the subscription based type of publication, sir? Like
Just see.
like time of publication time or speed of publication or any such things.
Just see, just when we talk about the high impact journals, so there they have only two options, like subscription base, where subscription base is means journals have rights to publish their article and they can only use that thing. But if you asking about the article processing charges, like fast publication, so some of the journals
Yes,
are
sir.
giving that option also, where they are having lot of uh, you can say lot of crowd is there, or lot of papers are there, so they are giving the option. So it depend on journal to journal. Okay, no problem.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, it is totally
Okay,
depend,
thank you.
because thousands of journals are there and they are having different rule and regulations.
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Hope, I think, yeah.
So we are towards the end of the sessions. Hopefully, many of
Sir, some more questions are there.
yes. I know, but only 5 to 6 questions will be taken now. Okay, sir. So I would like to invite the next question. The next question, please, sir.
Mr. Nadeem Khan.
Nadeem Khan, sir.
Mr. Nadeem Khan.
He is not there. Let me call the next. Okay. Please, Anju. Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Hmm. Hmm. In open access, then yeah, so if you choose open access, so article can be visible for everyone. Everyone can read your manuscript, but for that you have to submit, but you have to pay some article processing charge. And if high impact journal, that open access fees may be very high. So if you are having any funding, then only choose this open access option. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, so more people can read, but like every good institution or nowadays there is so many option is there where you can that get this subscription based article also. So why to go for unnecessary for open access if we don't have any funding, right? Yeah.
Okay, let us take the last question. Last question of the day from Renu ma'am. Yes, Renu ma'am.
Yes, sir. Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, which one is the best to check the plagiarism, sir?
I on mention that Turnitin is best if you want to for good journals because they are using also same tool for the plagiarism check.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So,
sir, please conclude the sessions.
Yes. So, thanks a lot. It was the session has already extended its timeline. So many questions were there from the viewers, and so many beautiful questions were being answered. And similarly, it shows the interest of all the persons who are present during the FDP program. As a concluding session, I would like to thank both the speakers of today's session, Professor R.S. Rai from Amity University, Noida, as well as Dr. Pradeep Mishra from College of Agriculture, Rewa, India. So thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. We all are there to help you out so that you can get your questions being sorted. So with these words, I would like to end today's session. And I would like to thank you all for making this program a big hit because we have still recorded more than 200 plus candidates in our live session. And I would like to thank all the organizers, all the speakers, as well as the members who were present, our young scholars who have their precious time during this particular FDP